What's up, people? This your boy Main Event Primetime TV here. So before I make or talk about this trade, I want to talk about something. In the history of the NFL, there has been a lot of great defensive players in the league. You had in the olden days of the NFL, you had Dick Butkus, and in the '70s and the '80s, you had the Steelers with their great defenses, with Mean Joe Green and all the studs they had at the time. Like you had oh yeah, especially around that time you had Doomsday Dallas in the '90s. I'm trying to think of a great. Oh yeah. Speaking of the '80s, the '85 Bears in the '90s. You had Dallas. They had good defenses. You had the 49ers with Deion Sanders. Both teams had Deion Sanders. Like I said, Deion Sanders was a generational player of his time. And then in the 2000s, you had a bevy of just great players. You had Ray Lewis, you had Troy Polamalu, you had Ed Reed, you had Brian Dawkins, and you have James Harrison. You have, like I said, all these players that were great at the time. And then in the 2000s, you had Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald and like it's going into 2020s too. Like you have all these great defensive players, and now you have Myles Garret, T.J. Watt, and Micah Parsons, and all these players that are great, um, passing on the tradition of great defensive players because defense wins championships. And Miles Parrott, like, I kind of wish the Browns built better teams around Myles Garrett. Like, it's just like it's unfortunate for like not me, but for Browns fans that they can't experience a generational talent like that. Like I remember they wasted a generational talent in Joe Thomas for him to be around the Browns for like 10 years. His first season they almost made the playoffs, and then the rest of it was just like factory of sadness. And now it's just like I said, like it was going to be with Myles Garrett till in 2020 in the pandemic year they made the playoffs, and they also made the playoffs in 2023 too. Crazy enough, and like I said, like the Browns is that one team that just can't get out their way of just losing. And let's go on to video.
Shocker of the offseason happened Monday as the Browns traded five-time first-team All-Pro and two-time Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett to the Rams for defense.
It'll be a sick duo if Aaron Donald turned. Now I know Aaron Donald hasn't played in like a couple dang near 2 years, but like I said, like Aaron Donald was also generational too. Like, oh yeah, I also forgot like especially around 2018 and 2017, like um, Khalil Mack, like that dude was a cannonball when he was in his prime. Like it's just studs.
Then Jared Verse and three draft picks, including a 2027 first. Garrett has had at least 14 sacks in each of the last 5 seasons, including an NFL record 23 last year, the most of any player since sacks became an official stat in 1982. Here's what Myles Garrett had to say in his parting words to the Cleveland faithful. Quote, "What can I say with complete honesty is this. I gave the city everything I had. I suited up and wore those colors with pride, and I don't regret a second of being part of this storied franchise. Every Sunday, every offseason, every play, every down, every moment, you gave me more in return than I could ever repay. The best days for this franchise are ahead." Damian Woody, Peter Schrager, back with us here on First Take. D. Wood, did Cleveland make the right decision in trading away Myles Garrett?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You could make the case that they should have done it last year. I think this is all about understanding where you are as a program. For as great as Myles Garrett.
The Browns, since not just when I was born, but like since 1999 has reset. Like they had Tim Couch, and then they also had that one year with like Kelly Holcomb and going to the playoffs in 2002. And then after 2002 it was just straight factory sadness till 2007 with Derek Anderson. They almost made the playoffs. And then after 2007 it was just straight staph infections, Johnny Manziel, staph infections again. um, Wasting Joe Thomas, and it's just straight dysfunctional. Joe, what's his brother name? Hugh Jackson, and before him, Mike Pettin. Um, it's just the Browns were just that one dysfunctional team, and then they had, and like I guess around like 2014, they had a good mini stretch in 2014, and then they just with Brian Hoyer, and after that they went like 1-15 and 0-16, and then like Baker Mayfield basically like revived the Browns franchise, and that was the stupidest decision, trading Baker Mayfield. Like, I know, like, you had people like Shannon Sharp criticizing him and all these other media heads, but like, ever since Bernie Kosar, their best quarterback is still today. It was Baker Mayfield. And they just traded him to Carolina, and it affected their franchise. Like, they have Deshaun Watson, they have um, the brother in Shador Sanders, and both of them, I mean, like, Deshaun Watson, he has off the field issues, and then Shador Sanders, man, people don't have faith in him, and it's just like, and then you got Dylan Gabriel too. He's just, I don't even know. It's just like the Browns is always they have these 1 year of fame, and then they rebuild. Like, it's just like they get into these hot stretches where they make the playoffs or they almost make the playoffs, and then they restart. And it's pretty much the same as today. Like, it's like the Browns are very, very, I can't even say inconsistent, but they strive in being a factor of sadness. They strive in being a legacy of failure of a franchise. And that's not me being like disrespectful. It's just the God's honest truth. Like, I remember talking to my cousin a couple years ago, and he was like, I'm paraphrasing. He was talking about how horrible the Browns franchise is. This is around the whole Deshaun Watson controversy, and it's like, because for a person like me, I'm not a Browns fan. I want to see the Browns win. Like, I want to see them succeed and do well. It's like, I want to see underdog teams strive and be better. Like for example, right now, you got the Detroit Lions. There was a period of time where the Detroit Lions sucked their ass like the Browns. They were also 0-16 in 2008 with one of their colleagues, I forgot his name, Orlowski. Like, it's just like with these franchise men, they just can't get out their way, and it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Here it is. It was absolutely time for them to make a move because they are on two different timelines. And what I meant,
For example, going back to Johnny Manziel, they told the Browns not to draft Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel was not a first round quarterback. Hey, if this was today, he'll be like, what's the guy that Dylan Raiola got? Not been drafted, and they drafted him in the first round because of the hype, and he was not that good. I mean, he made it into the league, but he wasn't that good. Like, the Browns always keep making these bonehead decisions, and it just affects their franchise. Like, they can't keep making these decisions. Like, I mean, at least they got Jared Verse, but he's not generational talent like Myles Garret.
about the Cleveland Browns and Myles Garrett. Last season against the New England Patriots, Myles Garrett had 5 sacks against the New England Patriots, and they lost by 19. Think about that. 5 sacks, and you still got blown out of the game.
That's the Browns.
Set the single season sack record.
Ken doesn't know everything, but he does know if you bundle your flights, cars, hotels, vacation rentals, you can save up to 30%.
Good, horsey. Thanks, voice in the sky.
Expedia, the one place you go to go places.
Bring in your AT&T, T-Mobile, Spectrum, or Xfinity bill for a better deal at Verizon.
And the Cleveland Browns are 5-12. He just, at the end of the day, he made no impact as far as winning football games. And that has nothing to do with Myles Garrett. It has more to do with where Cleveland as an organization is in their timeline. Now, I will say this about Cleveland. I know a lot of people don't want to hear this. I actually really like what the Cleveland Browns have done over the past couple seasons. Last season in the 2025 draft class was outstanding. Maybe the best draft class of any team in the National Football last year. Combined what they've done this year and the assets that they're bringing along, I think Cleveland will have an opportunity moving forward to go out and get their eventual quarterback. And you drop that eventual quarterback with this roster that they're building, then Cleveland will be on their way. But Myles Garrett, again, on 2 different timelines with the Cleveland Browns.
And clearly, they're not in a position to win right now. And even the last couple of years, 125 career sacks, 47 of those came when his team was trailing. So if you look at the Browns,
The Cleveland Browns are bona fide scrubs. Get them out the league.
hey, Peter, are they in a better position? Maybe not for 2026, but when they are in position to go get their quarterback to then start building.
Have to make the right picks. I go back to the Sixers and the trust the process. Like, it was all great in theory that you trade all these assets and you collect draft picks. You have to nail the picks. The Thunder, they nailed the picks they got for Paul George. Sixers did not, taking those picks that they had early on, and it could be Markelle Fultz, whoever. The Browns have to nail these picks now. I will say this. They didn't auction off Myles Garrett. This wasn't, hey, Myles Garrett's up for sale. What's the best deal we can get? Jared Verse was the reason they traded Myles Garrett. They viewed Jared Verse as a player that could someday be Myles Garrett, and that this will not be some crazy drop-off with Jared Verse being added to their defense. They're going to eventually pay Jared Verse huge money, and they're going to do so knowing that he was a player who was Defensive Rookie of the Year and was a first-team Pro Bowler, not an alternate like so many of these guys get to go to the Pro Bowl because 18 guys say no. No, he was a Pro Bowler twice in his first 2 years and a pure Pro Bowler, voted to that team. They view at 26 years old, entering the prime of his career, while this team is just about to ascend.
Like I said, y'all want to know my top 5 teams for the NFC is, like, the Rams is a part. I'm not going by order, by the way. The Rams, Eagles, Seahawks, Bears, and nobody from the NFC South. And the Packers. That's my top 5 teams.
View this as maybe the better fit with the additional picks than having Myles Garrett and saying we're going to have the best player on defense, but we're also going to be an atrocious team on the field for the next 2 years. I think the arrow is pointing up, but gosh, I understand if Browns fans are waking up and saying, Andrew Berry, what have you done? Why do you get my approval? Why do you get my roses? You haven't done anything. Those picks mean nothing until you nail the players.
Oh yeah, I do agree with that.
Y'all are right about that, but
especially as a person who watches the Sixers.
Be true. You can be absolutely right about that, and you could also acknowledge that they made the right move here. When you acquire a guy like Jared Verse, that matters. Okay, when you do that and you get additional picks as well, and you're going to be loaded with picks down the line, that certainly is going to help you improve your roster. So we all understand that at least there appears to be a plan in place. And ultimately, it's addition by subtraction from the standpoint that Myles Garrett, as much of a stud as he is, he's a one-man wrecking crew. He can't do it by himself. But I would like to remind people, Cleveland had the 14th ranked defense in terms of points allowed. They were 4th in yards allowed and 3rd against the pass. You know what that tells us? That their defense is pretty damn good, damn near close to elite. The real problem was their offense stunk, okay, because they had one of the worst offenses in football because they're bereft of weapons. And so when you understand that, you recognize the fact that in order to improve in terms of elevating your level of personnel, you're going to have to get picks, you're going to have to get draft capital in order to pull that off. And that's what they've been accumulating in recent memory. So we got to give credit where credit is due and acknowledge at least that.
Big word, Steven, accumulating.
Much, if nothing else, about them. But in the end, let's understand who Myles Garrett is and the fact that he deserves what he got too in terms of being moved to a contender. 30 years of age, 9 years in the NFL, only 2 playoff wins, only 2 playoff berths, and only 1 playoff win in his 9-year career. 125.5 sacks, 413 quarterback pressures, most in the NFL during this time, 149 tackles for a loss, most in the NFL during this time, and 8 straight double-digit sack seasons, plus he's a 2-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, 7-time Pro Bowler, 5-time first-team All-Pro. The brother has done everything he could possibly do. And remember, when he first came into the NFL, understand the level of torture that he has been subjected to. Myles Garret came into the National Football League in 2017, his rookie year. Peter Schrager, Damian Woody. What was their record his rookie
They
year?
didn't win a single game, Stephen A.
0-16. So he came. So understand.
They were bona fide scrubs. They can't play.
And this is not a franchise that was here and now they're going in the wrong direction and he wants to go elsewhere. Oh no. His initiation into the NFL has been hell. He started off his NFL career. He came into the league in 2017 and didn't win a game until 2018. Didn't win a game. Didn't win. And this ain't the NBA or hockey or something like that where,
Well, we all know you hate hockey. That's your least favorite sport. And now you buddies with Gary Bettman, and now you a hockey fan or whatever. Stephen A. Smith is a weird character.
what you're playing in the fall and then it goes into the new year in the spring. Oh, no. When we say he went a year without winning, it was really a year. This brother didn't win a damn game, okay? That's how he was introduced to the National Football League. He has been subjected to football purgatory, to absolute torture on the gridiron for the better part of the last 9 years. And finally, he has been relieved of his misery. He's been put
I
out
mean,
of
they
his misery.
did some stuff around that time, but it is what it is.
This is a great day for Myles Garret.
Of course, Stephen A. Smith gotta be over dramatic when he talks about things. Like, it's just like it was almost like a cartoon character at this point.
Deserves it, and the Cleveland Browns, for them to be moving in a forward direction, they're lucky they got that, because with the stuff they gave him to work with, they didn't even deserve that.
Yeah, well, the way you get out of football purgatory is by drafting well and going to get players in free agency, making good trades. Peter, they've got 11 picks in 2027. There's this big question now, is the quarterback of the future on the roster? It very well could be Deshaun Watson, because if he plays well this year, there's a very real question to be had about extending him beyond when his...
Miss, I don't think it's like I don't think she means it, but it's just like I don't think. I mean, I hope he does well, and I mean he means well. But I mean, to be honest, like, like most of the NFL fans don't want to see that. They definitely don't want to see Theodore Sanders. It's not because of off the field stuff. It's just no comment.
Contracts up. Or with the draft capital that they do have right now, how do you see them potentially answering that issue in 27, knowing that this is the second year in a row they're going to have multiple firsts?
Last year in the first round, they traded back in the Travis Hunter deal, and they got Mason Graham. And they said, we're going to collect some more draft picks in the following year. They also got, in that draft class, Harold Fannin, who's
They couldn't have got freaking like Shador and what's his name? Travis Hunter. The one with the weird situation with his girlfriend. Or his wife now, I guess.
Quinshon Judkins, who's a #1 running back. Carson Schwessinger at linebacker, who has been outstanding in 1 year with Cleveland. They did make the right picks last year, and we don't know about the 5th round pick, Shador Sanders, who, by the way, played well in moments last year and could also compete for that job. But I would think with all these bounty of picks and the 11 picks in next year's draft, including 2 first-rounders, it gives them great flexibility to draft the quarterback of the future, whether it is Arch Manning or it's Moore out of Oregon, or you name the prospect that is going to be getting the buzz come January, March, and obviously into the draft. It's all there with the capital. To me, my question is, okay, you make that pick. Are you then suddenly in a better place than you were with Myles Garret than you would have been without?
That's the hard part, because this front office showed us last year They could draft really well. Obviously, this year remains to be seen how these picks work out, but they always seem to have a bevy of this draft capital because of the trades that they make, because they're offloading talent that they know that they're wasting. I think that you guys all make great points that this is the time to do it. Hell, they moved Otis dates in his contract.
Hold on.
Okay.
Excuse me, you're missing one very important point. We're assuming people are going to want to come there. Like, let's take, for example, you're the number 1 overall pick. You got certain cats that went like this. I don't want to play for that franchise. Eli Manning did it. You understand? I mean, you got...
But not
I might not
everybody's like that, bro.
want to go there. Because the alarming level of ineptitude that has permeated through this franchise is undeniable. And you might be the Schrager. Damian Woody. You might be the Arch Manning. He wouldn't be the first Manning. He wouldn't be the first Manning that did that. Let's say it's your boy Arch Manning. I want to go to Cleveland. I want to have a career, and I want to be in Cleveland. When have they shown me anything? We got to take that into consideration, too. That's how bad this franchise has been. And then you go out there and you give Deshaun Watson a $230 million guaranteed, trying to reset the damn market. And how that work out? Now, we don't understand. You got to remember, Deshaun Watson may have gotten himself in trouble off the field, but nothing explains the precipitous drop-off. Have you seen somebody?
Let's be honest with real. You mention that shit, but you don't want to mention shit like the fucking, excuse my language, but the Dana White situation where he openly slapped his wife, and many other situations where it's like a lot of these Caucasian like athletes or entertainers, mostly entertainers. I mean, any of the athletes is an entertainer, but like them getting themselves in legal battles or legal troubles. You fail to want to mention that stuff. You're so quick to mention the black man issue. It's not just you, Stephen A. Malika Andrews and all these other black talking heads. Like, y'all so quick to talk about these athletes' issues, and which I had no problem with that. If it's like you got to keep that consistent for all these other people too. Like, I mean, there was a situation too. I think a couple months ago or something. Somebody did something. I forgot who did something, and like Stephen A. Smith failed to want to talk about them. Or not? Yeah, Mike Vagel. I don't know why that was skipping my head. Like, Stephen A. Smith don't want to talk about, not don't, but like he barely wants to talk about that. Like, it's just like when I did the video about the AJ Brown situation, like he didn't barely want to talk about that situation. Like, I just don't get it. Which I do get it, by the way. Knowing his Stephen A. Smith alliances behind the scenes of these shows, it's just like, you see, why are we be the same people that always throws ourselves under the bus? I don't know. It's just, it's really embarrassing, man. Like, it really is. Like, no wonder why the brother Tiki TV calls him Stephen A. Snitch. Because, I mean, like, the dude is just a cornball. And some of the stuff he does is just cornball behavior. It is what it is.
That elite as he was in Houston, and the photo, I know he's had some injuries, don't get me wrong, but I'm talking about the drop-off in his performance. I mean,
maybe he dropped off because of the shit what you mentioned, bro. That shit can take a toll on you mentally, whether he did it or not. Like whether he did it a lot, allegedly. Like, that can take a toll on a person mentally. That if you're getting accused by this many women, like, say for example, you, Stephen A. Smith, you got accused by X amount of women saying that they did something to you, or you did something to them, would that take a toll on you mentally? I'm not defending Deshaun Watson, but like, that can take a toll on a person mentally. If you get accused of doing quote unquote heinous things to people, and that can affect the person's work. Like I said, I'm not a psychologist, but I did take psychology classes. And stuff like that can take a toll on a person. Like, that's not fun. Like, you can't, like, it's like, that's why I said with the AJ Brown video, it would not shock me at all if the Patriots drop off have a major drop off. Because this whole Mike Vrabel situation cannot just affect Mike Vrabel mentally, but it can affect the whole team mentally. Because, like, how can you have a man that's your head coach, that he's out here doing, like I said, messing with other people's wives, messing with reporters? It's like, and if you underperform as a Patriots player, decide in your head, be like, well, my head coach, he's fucking this reporter, excuse my language. Or he having sex with this reporter. And he can give information to this person that could be damaging. Like, that can damage a person. Like, that's why if people say, oh, it's not about race. Yes, it's not about race. Because, like, some of these things could be damaging to a person. I don't know. It is what it is.
It's rare you see that, y'all. It's rare you see that. Something going on in Cleveland. And then Stefanski gets out of there, and he immediately picks up a job in Atlanta. You understand? You're looking at this, people are looking at it, it's Cleveland. It ain't him. It's Cleveland. It ain't the player. It's Cleveland. It ain't the coach. No. It damn sure ain't the fans. So it's got to be the organization. That's how everybody's looking at it. Am I lying?
Okay, Stephen A. Smith, what's your solution then?
Am I lying, Peter?
Could you imagine a quarterback went to Cleveland and actually won there? That.
I can imagine a lot of things.
That is Jalen Brunson coming to New York.
He putting Udo's base card on here. That's stupid. Because let's be honest and real. Before Jalen Brunson, this wasn't ish. Like, after 1999, they had a couple years with Carmelo. They still wasn't ish. Like, Stephen A. Smith. Of course, Zaddy got humble you, bro. Look at his face, like. Oh man. Oh man. And man, it's like, yo, I swear, man, seriously, the last 2 seconds as Kwame Brown was on this panel, man. Like, oh man. It's just like, and you say Kwame, it's like, I don't watch Kwame Brown this much, but like, Stephen A. Smith really do be proving Kwame Brown's points. Like, this man is a path of destruction, man, of affecting people's contracts, of affecting people's livelihoods. Like, it's not even funny at this point, man. Like, this man, Stephen A. Smith, is just, he is literally like a path of destruction of how he, like, not just with players, but with whole franchises, too. Like, it's not even funny. Like, you can be a player, it could be a college player, high school player, and have aspirations to be in the NFL. And if you watch this, you really can be persuaded with Stephen A. Smith and the shit that he be saying. It's not even funny. Like, well, we know that Browns have issues, but like, what's the solutions of the issues? You can yell, the Browns suck, the Browns are ass, the Browns are factory of sadness. But what's the solution to end, like, because let's be honest and real. Before the 70s, the Steelers was like the Browns. Before the 2000s, the Patriots was like the Browns. A lot of these teams, excuse my language again, the Eagles were like the Browns with their incompetence. A lot of these teams go through years of incompetences, and like, they get players that can be game changing and franchise changing. Like what Peter Schreiber said, Jalen Brunson. Like, for real. I mean, going back to NBA, like, you look at the Timberwolves. They really done much with Karl Anthony Towns. You had the Jimmy Butler situation and stuff too. Like, especially after KG era. But like, dang, the Carolina Panthers just scored 3 in a row. I'm watching. Not Panthers, Hurricanes. But Anthony Edwards came in and he's doing his thing. A player can change a face of a league. I mean, they had that with Baker Mayfield, and they got rid of him. I'm not saying Baker Mayfield would have brought them to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that. But he really redeemed the franchise. And it's unfortunate that they traded him. They got rid of him. I don't know. It's just... I mean, I'm sounding just as much of a loudmouth as Stephen A. Smith, but like, it's just like... We gotta think about logic here, people. It's like things don't happen overnight. Things build. And like the Cleveland Browns is trying to build something, and hopefully they can get that lucky break that they'll need, so they can win the AFC South, which they haven't done since the '80s, which was known as the AFC Central. But it is what it is.
Beating the Knicks. That is
Not
Carl
quite.
Anthony
Not
Towns coming here and getting the Knicks over the top. That's the kind of hero worship that quarterback would take, and that's why.
Look at jackass.
Saying, no, that's too tall.
We ain't knocking the city. We ain't knocking the city. It's a great sports town. You understand what I'm saying? The Browns and their faithful are who they are. We're talking specifically about the organization. We ain't talking about talk radio. We ain't talking about the fans. We ain't talking about local TV. We're not talking about the recognition of the Browns brand or whatever. We're talking about the organization under Hassler. I mean, the fact is, it ain't been anything to write home.
Well, they wasn't that good before Haslam. Really, they wasn't that good when they returned to the league. Like, what really messed up and fucked up the Browns is when they took away the Browns and they made them to the Ravens. And then they had to start over. And then after they start over, it's just been hell. Just saying.
You can't run from the smoke, Stephen A. You can't run from the smoke.
People have, though. People have. I did it, but they have. Many people have.
The real greats,
Don't know it's true.
They take on the smoke.
We're going to have to see if they do anything with these picks that's actually going to turn the franchise around, because there is a lot left to be desired with this Cleveland team that won 5 games last year. Straight ahead.
But yeah, to conclude this video, man, things don't get built overnight. Things take time, and it's just like we all go through in life those rough periods of times. I sure have where we go through these long periods of time of like turmoil, dysfunction, and frustration and adversity. And it's like the saying goes, is the good times a bad thing? And like the Browns need to embrace that philosophy. The bad times are a good thing. Cause like they, like I said, like they need that spark, and hopefully that spark will come into whoever player that comes to the Browns. I mean, I thought it was gonna be Baker Mayfield, but it wasn't Baker Mayfield. But it is what it is. I'm out. It's your boy Main Event Prime Time TV.